Hey everyone, it's Miss Joyce.
And Miss Melanese.
Today we'll be reviewing decimal operations. Let's start by adding 156 and 8 tenths plus 45 and 3 tenths. The first thing we're going to do is place each of these numbers into the place value chart. So we'll place 156 and 8 tenths into the first row. We'll place 45 and 3 tenths in the second row. Notice the decimal point always goes between the ones and the tenths place. Now let's go ahead and start adding, starting with the smallest place value. In these numbers, the tenths place is the smallest place value. So we'll start by adding 8 tenths plus 3 tenths, which is 11 tenths. So we'll place a 1 in the tenths place and regroup the other one to the top of the ones place. Now let's add the ones place. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 5 is 12. So we'll put the 2 in the ones place and regroup the 1 to the tens place. Now we can add the tens place. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So we'll put a 0 in the tens place and regroup the 1 to the hundreds. Now we can add the hundreds place. 100 plus 100 is 200. We can place the decimal point between the ones and the tenths place. So our answer is 202 and 1/10. Let's try a subtraction problem.
All right, guys, let's get ready to subtract. So we have 23 and 4 tenths minus 4 and 13 hundredths. We're going to put 23 and 4 tenths in the first row and 4 and 13 hundredths in the second row. Then, because there's a blank there, we put a 0. Now we can begin our regrouping. So you always want to start at the smallest place. So in this case, we're starting at the hundredths place. I noticed that I cannot take 3 hundredths away from 0 hundredths. So this means that I need to regroup from the tenths place. So I'm going to cross out my 4 tenths and put 3 tenths there, and I'm going to move 1 tenth. I'm going to regroup 1 tenth into 10 hundredths. Now I can subtract 10 hundredths minus 3 hundredths, and that gives me 700. Whoa. Getting a little ahead of myself there. So 10 hundredths minus 3 hundredths is 7 hundredths. And now I can do 3 tenths minus 1 tenth is 2 tenths. Next, I look at my ones place. Again, I have to regroup because I can't take 4 ones away from 3 ones. So I need to regroup from the tens place. So I take 110 away from the tens place and I break it into 10 ones and combine it with the 3 ones in my ones place, leaving me with 13 ones. So now I do 13 minus 4, which is 9. And then 1, can't forget about our regrouping, 1 minus 0 is 1. So our answer is 19 and 27 hundredths.
Hi, this is Miss Wilson, and I'm going to show you how to multiply 324 thousandths times 4 ones using the area model. So the first steps you're going to follow are draw a rectangle. Then write the first factor to the left of the rectangle in unit form. So I'm going to write 4 ones to the left of the rectangle. Then I'm going to write the second factor on top of the rectangle in unit form, which means I'm going to take 324 thousandths and break it apart into each digit. So I'll write 3 tenths plus 2 hundredths plus 4 thousandths. Then I'm going to divide the box so that each digit is being multiplied by 4 ones. Now I'm going to multiply the number to the left by the number on top. So I'll have 3 times 4 is 12. Ones times tenths is tenths. Then I'm going to go to the next one. 2 times 4 is 8. Ones times hundredths is hundredths. Then finally 4 times 4 is 16. And thousandths times ones is thousandths. Now I'm going to rewrite each product in standard form. And remember, standard form is how I normally see numbers. So I'm going to use my place value chart to help me with that. So I'll write, for 12 tenths, I'll write a 2 in the tenths and a 1 in the ones. For 8 hundredths, I'll put an 8 in the hundredths, a 0 in the tenths, and a 0 in the ones. For 16 thousandths, I'll put a 6 in the thousands, a 1 in the hundredths, a 0 in the tenths, and a 0 in the ones. Now I'm going to add all of the answers or products to get my final answer or product. So first I need to fill in some of the blank spaces. So in 1 and 2 tenths, there's a 0 in the hundredths, a 0 in the thousandths. For 8 hundredths, there's also a 0 in the thousandths. So now I have 0 plus 6, and I get 6. Then I have 0 plus 8 plus 1, and I get 9. Then I have 2 plus 0 in the tenths, and I get 2. Then I have in the ones 1 plus 0, and I get 1. So I'm going to rewrite my number on the answer line, and I get 1 and 296,000.
Finally, let's divide 4 and 600ths by 2. First thing we're going to do is write our partial quotient symbol. We're going to place the dividend, which is the first number, inside of our symbol. 406 hundredths, since the 6 is in the hundredths place. Our divisor, or the second number we're dividing by, is going to go to the left of our division symbol. So the 2 is in the ones place. We're going to write 2 ones. Now let's think, what can we multiply by 2 ones to get closest to 406? We don't have to get exact, we just can't go over. Well, let's use a friendly number like 200. 2 times 200 is 400. Notice we're in the hundredths place, so we want to make sure we label both of these numbers using hundredths. Now we can subtract. 406 hundredths minus 400 hundredths is 6 hundredths left over. Now we're going to ask ourselves, what can we multiply by 2 to get closest to 6 without going over? Well, 2 times 3 gets us 6. Notice we're still in the hundredths place, so we want to label both of these numbers as hundredths. Now let's subtract. 6 hundredths minus 6 hundredths is 0 hundredths. We know we're done dividing when we have a 0 here. The last step is to add up everything to the right. 200 hundredths plus 3 hundredths is 203 hundredths. We can rewrite this in standard form by placing the 3 in the hundredths place, since the 3 is the last digit. The 0 is regrouped to the tenths place, and the 1 is regrouped to the ones place. Remember, the decimal point always goes between the ones and the tenths place. So our answer is 2 and 3 hundredths.